Hey everybody, today we are going to make a super creamy Cajun chicken pasta. This dish is out of this world. I almost destroyed it 3 or 4 times and somehow it still came out delicious. So learn from my mistakes here, and if you're looking for a dinner to impress, this will do it. So let's take a look at what we've got. Here's a look at our ingredients. It's quite a few actually. Spices we'll go over one by one, but obviously we need pasta, some chicken stock, some Parmesan, heavy cream cheese for that, make it creamy. We've got our chicken, we've got our onion, bell pepper, and tomato. Yes, I know that was beef stock and not chicken stock. One of my mistakes. We'll get to that later. First, let's mix up our spices. That's 1 tablespoon of oregano. Those little hands you see there, that is none other than Mr. Action Jackson helping us out. So 1 tablespoon of onion powder. This is the spice combo of 1 tablespoon of paprika. It's a spice combo of our Cajun chicken pasta that mimics Applebee's Bourbon Street chicken. So it makes a good blend of spices. There goes a tablespoon of celery seed. That's the only unusual one there. Tablespoon of garlic. So it worked really well, and my favorite is this Zatarain's blackening season. I could put this on pretty much anything and be okay with it, or just let it stand alone and mix as it works really well. 1 tablespoon of parsley seeds and 1 teaspoon, or 1 Jackson pinch of, that's probably too much, of kosher salt. Now we just give our little spice mix and we're going to set this aside. If you haven't watched our video on the Bourbon Street chicken, knockoff or copycat of Applebee's Bourbon Street chicken and shrimp, please do so. It's a really, really good dish. Just a ton of flavor in that. It's another incredible meal. It's not the easiest to make, but several steps. But it's absolutely delicious. I think you'll enjoy it. Now on to dissecting our vegetation. Said this on many of our videos. This is especially true for our new cooks. I like to chop our onion in half and then slice them lengthwise, watching my fingertips, having my fingertips curl back so that there's never any chance of the blade touching my fingertips because I'm very much attached to them. And then just turn it sideways and dice it that like I just did. It works really well. Not the only way, but it works for me. We hear the term Cajun and Creole all the time, but what is Cajun? Well, a Cajun is largely historically speaking, self-contained communities in the bayou areas of southern Louisiana that were formed by the descendants of French Canadians, or Arcadia, that spoke an archaic form of French. Now the term Creole comes historically from a person of mixed European or black descendants, especially in the Caribbean, and their language is predominantly French. Long story short, the history of the two groups of people merged together in Louisiana, predominantly New Orleans, and that's how we get some of the best dishes, best restaurants in the world, not just America in my opinion, but in the world. And if you ask somebody what's better, Creole or Cajun cooking, you're probably going to start an argument. So you ask 100 different folks from Louisiana, you're going to get 100 different answers. Either way, it's all absolutely amazing food. If you've never visited New Orleans, go on an empty stomach. You will not be disappointed. Next, we're going to dice up a tomato, which is more of the Creole style than Cajun, even though our spices are more Cajun. In hindsight, I probably would have used 2, maybe even 3 tomatoes for this dish when they are just saturated with all the spices and creaminess that you'll see coming up. It was the best part of the sauce, And we're going to have Mr. Action Jackson slice up these tomatoes for us. I like to cube them up into about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch chunks. That works really well. I'm using a beefsteak tomato here, but I guess you could use the Roma tomatoes. In this particular case, I want some more juice coming out than what you would get for Roma tomatoes, but I think it would both be really, really good. So just running my knife through these. This doesn't have to be perfect. They're gonna cook down pretty drastically anyway. So if you don't have it perfectly cubed, don't worry about it. Next, our red pepper. You can certainly use yellow. You can certainly use green. In this case, the green tomatoes at the grocery store just did not look good, so I bought the more expensive red. And we're just getting that, I don't know what you call that, vein, or I don't know. Somebody put in the comments, what do you call that little white stuff in the bell peppers? Either way, we're going to get rid of that and dice these things up very similar to our tomatoes. Yeah, it just popped out the stem there, and that goes in the compost pile. These things, if your knife is really sharp, they chop pretty easily. So make sure your knife is sharp for these and don't cut your fingertips off. And there is Jackson stealing some tomatoes. I assure you, I would much rather him be stealing tomatoes to eat than any processed food. But if you have a little helper like this, for God's sakes, please be wary of where their hands are at all times. Yep, there goes another tomato. And another. At this rate, maybe this was why we didn't have enough tomatoes. Now we're going to get some water boiling for our pasta. So I always add salt. In this case, we're going to add not one, but 2 handfuls of Jackson handfuls of salt. Have no idea what kind of measurement that is. And then we're going to pour in some olive oil to keep the pasta from boiling over. Pretty standard there. You can use it pretty much any type of fat you want. Now for the main attraction, we're using 1 chicken breast. I like to just trim off any excess fat or any excess nasties, any bone if it got through. On the back side, a lot of times you'll see where it's just not trimmed perfectly at the butcher shop or factory, wherever it's processed. So make sure it's nice and clean, and then be generous on your spices here. I don't think you can overspice this, so rub it in, pat it in. That it really does do a lot more than just sprinkling it on top hoping it sticks. So press it in, flip it over, put it on both sides. And again, this is the spice mixture from our Cajun chicken pasta. If you just use that Zatarain's blackening season alone, it would still be excellent. Big mistake number 1 is using this grill. This is what we use for a Cajun chicken pasta. It has all kinds of problems. But first we're going to add some olive oil and some butter. It was hard to get the olive oil and the butter to spread evenly. It did a great job on making some sear marks on the chicken, but it made it very, very difficult to cook everything else evenly, as you'll see very shortly. So when you get that nice and hot, go ahead and throw in your chicken breast, and we're going to cook this for, I don't know, about 4 minutes. There goes mistake number 2, is we don't need all those spices. So it was just too much, and you'll see for sure why in just a minute. But went ahead and pressed those down anyway. And then after about 4 minutes on each side, 5 minutes, go ahead and flip them, and you can see that incredibly good looking char. That's what I was going for. Now, here's where things start to go downhill. Go ahead and take them off the pan and you can see all those spices are starting to burn. You can see some smoke coming up. I just about ruined the dish right here, and those ridges made it very difficult to stir around and redistribute them so they cook evenly. So almost ruined it here. The dish was incredible, but don't add those. So don't use this pan. Use a stainless steel non-stick pan, or stainless. That's fine. And don't add rest of those spices, or especially don't do both. Now we've got our onions, bell pepper, and tomato. So we're just going to let these cook down. This is going to need to cook down for probably about 10, maybe 12 minutes. All right, folks, here goes big mistake number 3 and 4. Instead of using chicken stock, I pour in beef broth, and as soon as that aroma hits me, I knew I made a mistake. But hey, if a little's better, rest of the bottle must be way, way, way better. I was wrong. So you only need about a quarter cup, half a cup to deglaze this. That's all. Use chicken stock. The beef stock worked fine. This dish was still incredible, despite my best efforts. But boiling all that proved to be impossible. I ended up spooning out most of it. So next we're going to add our heavy cream. I wished I measured, but why measure? It's probably a cup, maybe 1 1/4 cups of heavy whipping cream. And just get that mixed in, and this is the base of building our creamy sauce. If you want any dish creamy, just remember the cream cheese we're putting in here, heavy whipping cream, and Parmesan. That will do the trick for any dish. I can't imagine it not making anything nice and creamy. So if you haven't already, put this down on low heat so that the cream cheese doesn't just sort of burn but actually melt. Stir that in. It will take a few minutes, and then throw in a handful, maybe 2 handfuls of shredded Parmesan cheese. I would much prefer shredded off the block, but I can't be trusted with that at the house. I'll eat all of it. Now off camera, we boiled our pasta for about 10 minutes, and we're just going to finish cooking it in the pasta sauce. If you learn anything else from this dish, remember that you never finish your pasta in the boiling water. You cook it and then finish cooking it in your pasta sauce. Now we're going to throw our chicken cutlets back in. So let that simmer for 4 or 5 minutes, or if you're not ready to serve, turn your stove on low and just let it sit there until you are ready to serve. And then I like to take the chicken and cut them up into strips like this and serve it already cut up, but you can certainly put the entire piece of meat over the pasta. So next, give the pasta a really good stir. Get all that creaminess mixed in really, really well with your pasta. You want the pasta to absorb as much of the sauce as possible. And now we get to plate this up and eat it, my favorite part. So if you're looking for a weeknight meal that, or even a weekend meal to impress your dinner guest, this is it. If you're on a budget, this is actually a really cheap dish to make, considering how delicious it is and how fancy you can make it look. You know, in hindsight, if I was serving this to guests, I would have just got another plate because I got pasta sauce on the top of the plate, or just wipe that off. But who cares? I hope you cook this. It's absolutely amazing. And thanks for watching.